Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer. He's on the East Coast. And we're looking to turn it around on the play-up props. One of the worst nights of the season for the kids last night. So it looks like we are going to have some positive regression coming back as we get back to our average of winning about 3 out of 4 of these bets per night. So let's get back into that here as we've got 5 games on Thursday. We've also got another episode up for you with some best bets. Got looks at the sides and totals for tonight's games for you. So definitely make sure to subscribe to that page and check out both of these episodes each and every weekday moving forward. All right, Nate, let's get into the turnaround and kick it off with your first play a prop here for Thursday night.
Yeah, and Dyson Daniels should be good here for 19.5 PRA. Even though I like the under in this game, I think this is too low for a guy who is, really involved now that Jalen Johnson is hurt. I mean, he already was playing heavy minutes and is guaranteed to play big minutes against those Cavs guards defensively. I mean, 35.5 in the 2 meetings. Earlier this season, only 15% usage, but recently, that was back in November. Now, a couple months later, Dyson is at 20% usage in his last 7, averaging 17 points. And then, you look at the peripheral stats, were 11 RA before JJ gets hurt. Now in the last 4, we're talking 13.5 RA. And so, I mean, a line of just 9.5 rebounds assists is exploitable, but I do think you have more outs, because there have been situations where he doesn't get that 10 RA, but he's scoring 15, 16, which is where we're at with his averages recently. But he's actually had more passes than Trey. I mean, quite a few fewer potential assists in these last 4, but 16 potentials last time out against Houston, which is the number 1 team limiting assists. Also, a team high 14 rebound chances with Capella out and grabbed 10 of those, 5 contested. Onyeka Okongwu, like terrible pick by me 2 nights ago, is just not aggressive going to the boards at all. So like they're going to depend on these wings and guards to come in there and clean it up. And Dyson has a serious athleticism advantage over Cavs guards in terms of trying to clean that up. Second most drives in this span as well, 71% pass rate. So that's where you get all the potential assists. That's what you can count on with Cleveland's good rim protection, is like he's not going to try to go all the way to the rim. If it's not there, he's going to be kicking it out, getting the potential assists. And yeah, I mean, he's just stepped up, like I said, really big lines the last 2 times out against Boston. And Cleveland's kind of a similar team. I mean, at least similar in terms of like this is a top dog in the East. Going to bring it on both ends and I think keep the Hawks relatively competitive, at least I hope on the defensive end, to keep this total down.
Yeah, we got to see what happens with Jalen Johnson out, but Dyson Daniels is a good guy to step up. The Great Barrier Thief as well. So I'm sure you have to take like at least 1.5, if not 2.5 steals for this dude if you wanted those. But yeah, he's got to step up, man. There's just no way around it. Like he's been able to take a back seat at times with guys like Vit Krejci or Risa Shea. But it's like, no, if you guys are serious about this season, then it's going to need to be Dyson Daniels stepping up in that role of like do all everything and more than just defend the best wing player on the other team. Also get dirty on the boards and look to be actually kicking and getting those assists alongside Trey. So he's got to step up, and I will see if he answers the call, but he has up to date. So I have no problems with this one. And like you said, should have decent size at least over these guards with Garland back. Let's go to back to Franz and talk about Portland, Orlando for a minute. I'm taking him on the PR specifically over 28.5 points and rebounds. It does seem like there's been a few quotes from Mosley, but it does seem like that we're getting Paolo in the facilitator role. He's a lot more on ball touches for looking to facilitate, and Franz is the enforcer. I mean, this dude is driving to the hoop like 18 times a game, like a madman. Basically number 2 in the NBA right now. It's weird because he doesn't have the amount of games or minutes to qualify just yet, but he's up there. When he actually is playing last year, he was in the top 10 as well and drove more than Paolo. And look, let's just keep it to the matchup for a minute, because as long as Franz is getting the minutes, we're good to go. And I don't know, again, how you keep Franz off the floor when he's just been making such a ruckus because they've been like, we're going to limit you. And he's like, no, you aren't, man. I'm going to play as much as I damn well feel until the wheels fall off. So 40 minutes in that win versus Miami makes me comfortable that this dude's not on a strict minutes restriction and that he should be getting above 30 once again. He's been supposed to be under 30 twice now. He's gone over both games. So excuse me if I don't believe you guys that he has a legit minutes restriction. When you look at the matchup itself, if you can't guard the paint or you can't guard the rim, then you can't guard Franz Wagner. And is no, like, there are some decent matchups because they have the big wings on Portland. If they want to put Denny on him, I do think they'll either put Denny or Jeremy on one of the two of these. I just hope it's Jeremy Grant, because if he's going to catch Franz's shoulder and his chest and just go flying, and we'll be totally good with Franz scoring that way. If it is Denny, definitely a better matchup. I do think he'll be on Paolo rather, as a dude that is going to need to be maybe a little bit more versatile than Jeremy Grant. We know Franz is going to be looking to score. You got to be able to defend a bit more things against Paolo, honestly. So I do believe that he'll have the better defender and Denny on him. But if you look at them going to the rim, right, everything for Portland is going to be easy. If Kling Kong gets a few more minutes, is actually a better defender than DeAndre Ayton down low. Mostly, though, when he's battling just big, beefy dudes. He's not really capable of moving his feet well enough just yet to be in position for driving guards. That's how he would get himself in trouble. So he's going to be a much better matchup for, a guy that you want to limit, who, let's say, like a Joel Embiid type. I'd rather have Klingon on him. But to be honest, we're talking about defending the rim with guys running at you. Still, obviously, don't trust him fully yet. I think he'll get there, to be honest, but that's really what it comes down to. And then the rebounds, like, the chances have been there. He's going to be guarding a few bigger guys as well, which puts him in good spots for getting close to the rim, playing closer to the baseline on defense for those boards. So like I said, he's definitely playing a little bit more as a big man scorer, and Paolo's a lot more of like a guard facilitator.
Yeah, I mean, you said Klingon dealing with guards, Franz being a 6'10" guard with an incredible decel and glass game. That's just like not something you encounter when you're playing at UConn for if you're Klingon. So yeah, I don't think he's going to be stopping him in the paint. Yeah, like you said, if you get the minutes, you're Gucci. It's 27 points a game when he's played 30 plus minutes on average. Also, Orlando, while it was overtime, they get 2 days off here to travel out to the West Coast. And in his one spot on 2 days rest, 32 for Franz, played 39 minutes, also averaging pretty good there on a couple spots with even more rest than that. Big time plus 17. So we like Orlando to win. We like Franz to lead the way there. Let me take Desmond Bane. 17 and a half points is the first play, maybe half unit there. And then I think you can try to fish for this this negative correlation, or it's somewhat of a positive correlation in terms of he's going to score, he's not going to assist, and then we get plus 230 on him going under 5.5 assists. It's inflated because he's had some huge games lately. He does have plenty of potential assists, but I mean, we're going against Houston, the number one team limiting assisted field goals, and Alperen Şengün might not play. I'm not, how exactly that's going to translate to things. I think Bane should still have plenty of success operating in the pick and roll if it's Jock Landale and Steven Adams. But those guys are going to drop, right? They're going to take away the assists that you might get and make Bane beat you. And the Rockets have been vulnerable above the break threes, actually the second worst defense the last 15, being like, you can fire away, like, we'll see if you make enough. And Bane has been hot lately. Also struggling to protect the rim when Şengün's been in there. They are the third worst percentage at the rim in the last 15. But really, this is like with or without Ja. You look at Bane, like he's had these huge assist numbers, averaged 9 per game his last 8 without Ja, averaged 4.5 with Ja. 20 points per game either way. Obviously more usage without Ja, but he's gets the more favorable matchups when Ja is in there. And that's why you like Amen Thompson on Ja. You like probably a lot of Dylan Brooks on Triple J. And then who does that leave? It leaves FVV Jalen Green on Bane, who can definitely exploit those matchups. Houston is at a serious rest disadvantage here on the fourth game of a road trip. Memphis coming off 2 days rest. Bane has averaged 23 a game against Houston. His last 8 with 26% usage, only 4 assists per game. So for it to be 5.5, which is like minus 150 on its own, books are saying that's likely. I'll take that correlation and another 2-3-2 line. I mean, excuse me, 23-2. Hopefully he gets the 20 points, because that's what we've been getting from Bane a lot when Morant's in there.
Yeah. No, I see how you're playing this for sure. I mean, I love the points. No problem with the under on the dimes either. Weird game from Ja at the Garden the other night that I still don't really have a grasp on how that happened. I cannot believe he looked so disinterested. But that also led to Bane a few more dimes because he was out there without Ja a lot more. And I don't know that that'll be the case. I mean, if we get Ja, you got to keep him out there. And I'd love this with Ja out there, obviously, which is what I know you're predicating this bet on. It's just like with Ja, double the assists or half the assists as he has when Ja's not out there. So yeah, definitely with this one, I'm going to keep taking the points. I'm surprised they keep leaving it at 17.5 for a guy like Bane. I mean, he's got plenty of moments on the floor where he's the lead ball handler and can choose to do what he wants alongside Jaren Jackson Jr. Like this should be at 18.5 no matter what. And I think it should be closer to 19.5 moving forward, but great value. I am going to, I think at this point, name my child middle name Collier or Isaiah or something, because this man is a wagon. So we're going over for the Utah Jazz guard, rookie out of USC, Isaiah Collier, over 9.5 rebounds and assists. I mean, ladder that shit if you can. I don't care. I like adding the rebounds in this one as well for Isaiah, just because of the minutes that he soaks up. This is not a great matchup for dimes, if we're being honest. But if you're going to hustle, one of the reasons we're both scared to even just like take a Minnesota team to cover any kind of spread, much less 7.5, but any kind of spread right now is mostly just because I don't know what level of effort we're going to get. Isaiah Collier is going to be given that effort no matter what. This dude is just a little pinball that just runs through everybody all game like a running back. He's played 14 games this season with 25 plus minutes. And by the way, I should say, if you can't get like a combo of rebounds and assists or anything like that, I prefer the dimes, and you can still get those for close to even money at over 6.5. Once again, it's just starting to feel like at some point he has to come back down to earth because he can't get 7 assists every single game. At some point he has to go under. This would feel like a dangerous spot. You also will have a lot of guys back for Utah, like Lowry and potentially Kessler and Collins, but at the very least, Sexton and George will be out there as well. So like, let's be reasonable here. I'm not trying to like get him to 11 assists. I think this is a good number as is, but 25 minutes, he's played 14 games. He's gone over this number in all 14. He's averaging 13.4 rebounds and assists per game in those ones where he plays at least 25 minutes. And I don't know how we get him back under that. Like, I don't even know how you take him out of the starting lineup at this point, but as we mentioned in the other episode with the best bets, you do need to watch the Utah announcements throughout the day, because Will Hardy might just randomly start Bryce Sensabaugh tonight, and then he might not play Bryce Sensabaugh tomorrow. So you have to stay on top of that. And when you see Collier in the starting lineup, you can feel good about 30 minutes, but I think we got him at 28 plus no matter what. In these last 14 games where he's played these amount of minutes, 11 potential assists per game and 7.2 rebound chances. You take Kessler and or John Collins off the floor. You take both of them off the floor. This man's averaging 14.5 rebounds and assists per 36 minutes. You take just one of Kessler and or Collins, put them on the floor, it's fine. He's still at like 13.5 rebounds and assists per 36 minutes with one of those two out there in terms of Collins and Markkanen. And to be honest, like, he's just going to keep diming those dudes up. So the assists are still as good of a play. It's the rebounds that when we get Kessler and we get Collins out there, the rebounds are much sketchier. Now we're talking about like 3 boards per 36 for Collier when he's out there with them. So keep an eye on both those guys. But if one of them is out, then the rebounds are a fine addition. And this does help the hit rate a little bit for him, that he's gone over a couple games. He's gone a little bit lower on the dimes, picked it up with the rebound. So I like having them both out there if you can get to that play.
Well, as far as the dimes, you can get plus 110 at FanDuel for just the dimes in there. And yeah, I don't know if you do want to say points and assists more than rebounds, depending if those bigs are out there for the Jazz. Maybe you want to pivot to that. Because yeah, I mean, Kessler and Collins will be handling glass work for sure. Collier's been able to score, man. Even with Sexton and Markkanen in there the last time out, 12 points on 9 field goal attempts. Like you said, he can bowl his way in there. And with the Wolves on a back-to-back here and not necessarily giving their full effort after they gave that full effort against the Suns last night, I think he can knife in there and get some points. But we're just happy. This is the first time since he's been cooking that we have his props up before noon as we record this show. Otherwise, it's just been a late play and a lean every morning. And then, yeah, it's been a cash cow when it comes up.
Yeah, hopefully you guys are hitting it, because like I said, my daughter's middle name might have to be Collier since he donated to her future graduation funds at this point. So much appreciative of you, young man, Mr. Isaiah Collier. That's all the time we have for you in Play of Props. Definitely want to make sure to subscribe to that page. Check out the best bets with some sides and totals looks for today. And until we see you next, happy betting.